Morning, Tony. How is Washington?
It's good. It's beautiful, Coach. We just got rain for the first time last night. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, get used to it. It's a lot of rain constantly, right? It's
Yes,
amazing
sir.
how they get less rain than Dallas, Fort Worth, but they get just misting and light drizzle a lot. Just we get it like last night, about 2 inches in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, when you see
Yeah,
like rain's coming, you're like, oh no, like no, no, this is not Dallas rain. This is not Texas rain. We're not going to flood. This is just like a gentle pitter patter.
yeah. Just enough to. Hey, good morning, Omar.
Good morning. I just got here. We had a little rainstorm, but I made it. So that's good. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Congratulations on popping out $1 million beyond $1 million earners.
Crazy,
Congratulations.
crazy what Willie and Lorena are doing and what Miguel Elijah is doing and Diana and George. I mean, I got $250,000 raise last year, two diamonds, and I feel like a dud. Isn't that funny?
It's interesting how um, in the prelude to this meeting, uh, um, puts up their pictures of people's brains. And they kind of have some fun with thinking, well, here's Bill and Omar's brain. But uh, the truth is, if you're not centered on making money and having money and accumulating money, it won't come. I hate it when people say, don't worry about making money. It'll be there. Just go out there and help people. There are truckloads of people who quit Primerica because they didn't make any money, but they had a heart for helping people. How do you combine heart and making money? How do those two things go together?
I mean, you have to understand it's not just heart, because if it was heart, you could work at the Red Cross, you could go to your local church and volunteer, and you could do all kinds. You could visit pet shelters, you could visit the elderly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do for your heart that makes you feel good, that doesn't make you money. To me, you have to understand that you need to make money, because everybody you love and everybody that relies on you needs you to make money. They need you to make money. It's not a, oh, well, I want to do it. No, no, they need you to do it. So either you're going to go take the nose, or your wife and kids, they'll have to hear no forever. I've never had to tell Brady or Olivia or Danielle no. Olivia turns 16 years old in 2 months. We have her brand new Benz, Mercedes Benz GLC SUV with the AMG pack. It's already ordered. It's coming. I don't got to tell her no. When Brady was old enough, his Genesis was in the driveway with a big red ribbon on it, Bill. And I don't know. To me, I don't look at it like that. I like that what we do helps people. And the more people we help, that we make money. But I wouldn't do it for free, because if we did it for free, how would we eat? How would our families eat? Right. So I always laugh when everybody says, I would do this for free. I call bull crap. I think we wouldn't do this for free. I think we do it because we get paid lots of money and it makes us feel good and we do good. So, I mean, I don't think it's all the exact thing. I think you got to
Well,
understand money's important. You got to place that importance on it. And so that's just my opinion on
well, I tell people, Omar, when they start getting into the money issues, you can go out and sell no load mutual funds where there's no load, there's no commission, you don't make any money on it, but you're helping people. There are some no load mutual funds out there, but you don't make any money. And you can sell a bottom line term insurance where there's no money in it. So yeah, you don't have to have America to help people. but how long would you do it?
Right. I
And
wouldn't do it
we-
long.
we kid ourselves, and a lot of folks like to get away and hide from making money with the thought, I just want to help people. And money's not important to me. To like them to go through all these mental exercises, and all it is, they're conning themselves and stiff arming, having to be responsible. Thing I love about money, it's a measurement. You can't get away. It's results, and you can't hide behind. And that's why I talk about this for a second. Don't worry about the money. If you help enough other people, the money will be there. What's your response to that one?
It's not, because you can help a lot of people. Now, are you talking about help people in Primerica? I mean, you could not recruit people and you can go help people on a district leader contract and the money ain't coming, because district leaders an apprentice position, right? You have to get to RVP to make the money. That's where the money comes in. District leader, division, and regional leader are all apprenticeship positions. Like when you're a plumber or an electrician, you're a journeyman, you got to work underneath a real plumber and a real electrician, and you ain't making the money at that point. You start making the money when you get to the plumber position. I can't even believe we're talking about plumber and electricians making money, but they make a lot of money nowadays, right? So RVP is where you have to get to. So if you just want to go help people as a district leader, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get wealthy. So you have to understand, I have to do the things. I have to recruit people. I got to license people. I got to train people. I got to develop teams. I got to develop my skill set, my disciplines, so that I can get to RVP, so that I can make money helping people.
Omar, years ago, we were in La Jolla, one of your favorite places. You used to take your kids family on a regular basis. Beautiful. We had a company trip, and that one night had like they have the first night, and I got stuck at a table, and with Glenn Williams' brother, and his name was Art Williams.
Art Williams.
His name was Art Williams.
Yeah.
And he's not like Glenn at all. Nice guy, but he was a wholesaler for a managed account business.
Yeah.
And he was holding court. Here I am. That's not his meeting. It's our meeting. Just a guest. And he was there talking about managed accounts. And after about 10, 15 minutes, I couldn't take it anymore. Like me, I said, wait. I interrupted him, which he was appalled at. How dare you interrupt a wholesaler? And I said, let me tell you, folks, there are some Primerica people around the table, mostly securities people. And I said, if you listen to him, you'll never be wealthy. You'll make some money, but you'll never be wealthy. The guy next to him turned out to be his boss. He said, Bill is right. You can make some money doing managed accounts, but you'll never get wealthy. And the point I'm trying to make in all that, you can make some money without recruiting, but you'll never be wealthy. Never. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much you love security. I don't care how much you love making sales. You'll never get wealthy. Wealthy means what? Having assets off which you receive an income so you don't have to work. Overrides. Talk about that for a second. Omar, a lot of people avoid recruiting. They are appalled at recruiting. They're embarrassed to recruit. How do you get over that?
I was just in Puerto Rico last weekend to do a builder school there. We had a great time. I'd never gone to do a school in Puerto Rico, which I thought was amazing that they've never asked me before. So
did you
I went there
in Spanish? Did you do everything in
No,
Did you do everything in Spanish?
Everybody there knows English pretty much. So, but anyways, I went there. I did a great school, and one of the points that I brought out was owning assets, stocks, mutual funds, managed accounts is good. But the best investment I have, Bill, is my business. My business pays me 1.65 million a year. And to get that income, drawing 5% out, I would need $33 million in a mutual fund. So I was trying to get them to understand, is it easier to accumulate $33 million or is it easier to build a business? Well, number one, you're never accumulating $33 million if you don't run a business, if you don't grow a business, right? So recruiting, without recruiting, I don't have that asset. And then you look at Walmart, you got $16 million saved, but I wouldn't have that if I didn't recruit and grow a business and grow an income. Last night, one of our neighbors had one of his buddies over, and we were all hanging out last night in his garage. My one really, really rich friend likes to hang out in his garage, and the weather was nice last night. So you had the garage doors open, and everybody was over there hanging. So this one guy's not rich. My neighbor's rich, and I'm rich. And the one guy is trying to get stock tips on where to invest the money. And both of us, now, my neighbor built a trucking business that he unloaded, and he made tens of millions of dollars. Okay, he's a very wealthy guy. And I'm pretty wealthy myself. So we're trying to explain to this guy, you don't understand. It doesn't matter if we gave you the best stock. You don't have enough money to make a difference. We're both telling him this. So it's Omar and this other guy that owns a completely different business. And the guy didn't understand. We said, we both grew a business, an asset that paid us enough income, and our quality of life living was a lot less, and we had a ton of money left over every month, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 a month left over, that we invested. And it doesn't matter where you invested at that point. I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying. Any good mutual fund will do. If you're investing 20,000, 30 grand, 40 grand a month over a long enough period of time, you're gonna have tens of millions of dollars. He still didn't understand. He's trying to get out of me, Bill, where do you have your, what stock do you own? Like, it doesn't matter. You're not understanding. So he didn't want to hear that I have to do the work to build a business. He wants to hear what's the easy way. And it's like in Primerica, the investment guys want to hear, well, you know, this is the easier way. I could grow my, you know, the AUMs, and I could retire on AUMs. And I said, listen, AUMs, what are they designed for? People accumulate money so they can retire. And what do then? They start taking the money out. So eventually the AUMs go down. And then all these investment guys, they're delusional, though. They think, well, I'll get all the money when they die because all their kids. I said, their kids already have the money spent, at least half of it. Like Bill Orender's children and Omar's children and everybody's children that is going to get an inheritance, no matter how much they love us, Bill. It has crossed their mind multiple times what they are going to do when they come into this wealth, right? They're going to get their dream lake house, or they're going to pay off their house, or they're going to do this. So AUMs is kind of, you can make money, but you're not going to get wealthy. I like the other AUMs, asses under management. Asses under management, okay? Licensed representative, regional vice presidents that are recruiting and building. Asses under management gets you wealthy. Assets under management pay you a living. That's the way I see it. And I do both.
You know, people are saying, you know, I said, they said, well, Willie's not doing hardly any securities. I said, just wait. Give him about 10 to 12 years.
And Willie's got asses under management. That's why he's the number one paid guy. You could bring me the number one guy in the company with the most assets under management, and they make way less money than Willie, and their income's dwindling as their clients get old and they're retiring and they're dying. So, you know, maybe I screwed
Again,
up. I ought to have never learned investments, and I ought to just recruit it. I recruit, but I kind of do it all, you know.
I tell them, just wait. When Willie has some people that becomes invest specialists, and these clients start, you know, have their parent, just wait. He'll be doing 20-25 million dollars a month within the next 10 years, accidentally. And so, and within 15 years, half his income will be securities, which means he'll be making about 25 a year, half of which will be secure. He'll be making 25 million a year within 10, 12, 15 years. You're going to
I
start
hope
seeing
so,
people
because I
make it.
override him. So I
know
need to
it.
make a lot of money.
And I override you because I own stock.
There you go.
So, yeah. And so, you know, one of the things we decided to talk about today, Omar, was the mental blocks that all of us have. We are afraid to expose. You know, when you go to a therapist or a coach, you go, tell me my weaknesses. What are the weaknesses I have to get over? And this is, thank you, Tony. Look at the great job she did. Look at that. Thank you, Tony.
She is talented.
Thinking that keeps people from wealth. Again, if you're a golfer, you're not going there saying, here are my strengths, help me with my strengths. You're going to go there saying, what are my weaknesses? What are my blind spots? And these are the blind spots I think people have. And so it's the thinking. What are you thinking? I've had people come up to me, Omar, and say, why aren't you retired? You're thinking, why are they even asking that? If someone said to you, why aren't you retired? You got so much money. What is their thinking flaw?
Their thinking is everybody has a job they hate like them and they can't wait to get out. They're not looking at it like people like you and I enjoy what we do. We have a passion. We got plenty of money, and we actually live our life and we work around our life. Most people live their life around their work. So it's different, right? So they don't understand that we have complete freedom. We can work if we want, if we don't want. You don't retire from anything that you love, right? You're not going to retire from being a dad. When your kids grow up, you're still their dad. You're not going to retire from being a spouse. And if you were a great athlete, do you think for 1 minute, if Michael Jordan could still play at the level he used to play at, he would have ever retired? I tell you, no. I would tell you the majority of those athletes, the only reason they retire is they just can't do it anymore.
You know, my thinking is it's a inbred thought process from their youth. It's history of our country. You retire at 65. That's what you do. And when you have enough money, you quit doing what you do, live off that. My father, when he retired, got a watch like they did back in those days. Not a gold watch, but it was a shiny watch. He said they called it the death watch because within 2 to 3 years, these guys died because they had no passion, nothing to get into. But I think it's more than that. I think their thought is you get to a point, you get enough, then you back off, you do nothing. And again, that's a flaw in their thinking that I don't want this to be over as an example. I don't care how I am. My heroes are people that are productive in their 90s. You know, we go to church with Chuck Swindoll. He's 89. And he's preaching as good now as he did forever.
And Bill,
and so
in the Bible, there's nowhere that tells you should not work. The opposite. It tells you should work hard.
In fact, Asad Faraj pointed this out. There's one scripture in the Bible where the man says, I've got all this silos, they're all filled, and I don't have to do anything. And a lot of people think, well, that's money. And then when you accumulate money, God admonishes you. No. What he said was, by filling up those silos, he didn't have to do anything. He said, your life will be taken you tomorrow because you have no value anymore to God's kingdom. So again, part of the thought process is, if I ever get to this kind of money, I would back off. I'd retire. I'd sit on a beach. No, Art Williams is not sitting on a beach. He owns the nicest resort in America. You're not sitting on a beach, and you can shut down your base shop and do nothing, and do what? I mean, people think if I had enough money, I would do nothing out. No, trust me, that's not a dream come true. It's a death watch. The next one, please, Tony. How much is enough? Why can't you ever be satisfied? Omar? Again,
The answer
we're
is
condemned.
there is no number that is enough. I think it's a scoreboard type deal. You know, once you've already won, the larger your net worth gets. It's just like keeping score, right? How well am I doing? Am I on my A game still? Like next week, I'm going out and I've got 3 clients. Excuse me. I've got 3 FNAs that I'm training a new rep that I am closing. Why do I do that? Because I need the money? No. I'm doing it because I'm a player in the game still, and I like to know I can still score. And I don't know. It's never enough. Satisfied, that's a double-edged sword. I say be grateful, but never satisfied. Be grateful for all you have, your health, your family, you know, whatever net worth you've accumulated. Be grateful that the Lord gives you another day every day when you wake up in the morning, but never be satisfied.
Well, I think society today hides behind what we call virtue signaling. I'm glad I'm not like Omar and Bill. I'm not money hungry like those guys are. You know, it's more to life to money, and they hide behind it. So they condemn people. Like people said to me, how much is enough? I said, well, tell me how long you're going to live. Tell me the issues in your life. Tell me the state of the government and how they steal money from hardworking people to pay for their special interest groups. Thank you. $37 trillion in government debt. They can't have enough because they keep coming to us.
And add into that, tell me when your children might get ill and need the best health attention, because that costs money, right? You don't know what can hit you from what angle. I remember in 2008, Bill, we had, the economy almost collapsed. Our old company stock dropped 90%, 90%. Luckily, I didn't have that much in it. Our mutual funds dropped 40, 50%. My income went down 250 grand in 09. And on top of it all, I got blessed with a home, a brand new, beautiful home that I built that had Chinese drywall, that I had to move out of my home, pay a guy to come rebuild my home after I just paid a big down payment on it. And that's where you knew who had money and who didn't have money in the neighborhood. Because the guys that didn't have money, they were waiting on a lawsuit. They lived in their homes for 2 years, 3 years, breathing in that crap. And other guys, they just walked away. But what I do, I moved out, wrote a check, hired a builder, gutted my house to the concrete block, redid the electrical, the plumbing, everything, and moved back into my house and went on living normal, right? So how much is enough? Never, because you don't know what is going to get thrown at you, what curveball will be thrown at you. And most of the time, you're going to need money to resolve the problem.
Well, thank you. Let me use an example. If you make $100,000 in our business next year, the government says you got to pay us taxes as if you were making 120,000. Did you know that? And so that's why they say, well, now here's what your taxes are supposed to be this year. But you say, well, I didn't make 120,000 this year. I only made 50. Nope, you still got to pay taxes like you're making $120,000, and will settle up the year after. So your taxes are the government. If you're self-employed, they keep it. If you make 200, you got to pay taxes next year like you're making 240. They got this scheme going on for self-employed people, and they hit you like crazy for taxes. And like your income went down, your tax percentage rate went up that next year for a period of time. Then you maybe got a check back from the government. But if you're ever, I like to tell people, can you tell me that number? What is that number enough? Tell me a number enough. Well, what is that? The point is, everyone in their mind, you're making more money than me. You're not a good person. I saw this thing on TV a while back, a couple weeks ago, where the head of the United Auto Workers was wearing a T-shirt that "Eat the Rich." Then he's saying nobody should be worth $1 billion. Those billionaires should take their money and spread it out and feed the homeless and take care of the poor. You notice how he wants to use other people's money? That coward. Why? That's how people think, because they want to take other people. Now, if he never said millionaires should not, because he's a millionaire. He probably makes $1 million a year running at United Auto Workers. The point is that people walk around and they're judgmental. And I'm telling you something, when people start thinking like this, they start coveting. They say, oh, no, you're coveting. That's a sin. They're being jealous of other people and their success. That is coveting them. Not wanting what they have, not wanting them to have it. And again, are you ever satisfied? Rabbi Lapin says you should be content, but never satisfied. If you're sitting in the back row of an airplane, be content that you're in an airplane. But your mind ought to be, I'm going to strive to get to that first class. I'm content to marry to my wife, Carol. I'm not satisfied with my marriage. I'm content with my blood sugar levels, but I'm not satisfied to do nothing and start eating potato chips all the time. Again, it's a virtual signaling. We all have this in us, and it keeps us. It's a flaw that needs to be worked on. Final comment on this section, Omar?
I mean, I love Will Rogers' quote, "What's enough money? Just a little bit more."
Again, if you have any kind of, well, I need to be satisfied with what I have. You know, a lot of people fail in our company, Omar, because I've heard this. Well, you know, Bill, I'm making a lot. I usually only make 50,000, so I'm pretty satisfied with making what I'm making. You see how that holds them back? You think, well, I used to make this, so while I'm making this, I complain. But there's something in us that says we've got to strive for more, grow more, and we get condemned for that. Next one, please. There's more to life than making money, Omar.
Yeah,
You've heard every one of these.
Said the broke guy, right? Because everything that brings us joy, you're gonna need money to make happen. My wife brings me joy. My kids bring me joy. My family, my extended family, my nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters bring me joy. What do I like to do? Give them stuff. I like to give them stuff. Why? That brings them joy. When I bring all my nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters to Disney World every year, Bill, on our annual trip, and I rent a 12 bedroom home that's got a basketball court and a bowling alley in it and a video arcade, and my nieces and nephews are running around having a good time. And then we go to Disney World, and that brings me joy, right? Everything that brings me joy. I love going to my church. This evening, Bill, is our annual auction at our Christian private school. Most guys look at it like, oh man, they just want money. I can't wait to go tonight. I can't wait to see who is going to try to challenge me for the private parking spot right in the front that I've had every single year, because there's always one guy that wants to try. That brings me joy, right? So I can beat him, everybody claps, and we raise a lot of money for the school. Everybody wins. To me, when you tell me there's more to life, I mean, good health. You want to eat good food that's organic, that's more money. You want to go to a good doctor, a nutritionist, that costs money. Everything costs money. You want to live in one of these crime-riddled neighborhoods, or you want to live in a neighborhood like ours, Bill, that's no crime. Costs money. Everything costs money. So when you tell me there's more to life than money, here's what I think. I look at you, I smile, I'm not rude, but on the inside, Bill, I think, what a dumb ass. And I am so happy that I am not relying on that person for my happiness. That's what I think. So that's what I think
Well,
about.
there's also a wife, generally a wife behind them, saying, I wish he'd make more money.
Oh,
But he's hiding behind. He's hiding behind.
yeah.
There's more life than money. You can't take it with you. How much is it? He's hiding behind these cliches
My own
that
brother,
people
Bill,
have given him, and using it as his armor.
Bill, my own brother, I can't get him to come work with me. He would be amazing in the business. He's got people skills. He just has that. I mean, he would do great. And his wife wants him to do it because his wife goes to work every day, does her job, clocks in, clocks out. She's a good trooper. I love my job. She don't love her job. If they won the lottery tomorrow, they both quit their jobs. I wouldn't quit Primerica. If I won the lottery tomorrow, $640 million mega, whatever you call it, I don't even know what you call it, I wouldn't change a thing. I might go get a new car. I might go move my house, to the beach. But that's it. I would still do the O&O money show every month. I would still do Primerica. I still run my base shop trainings. I love what I do. What else would I do? People that retire die. They get bored. You can only play golf X number of times a week. I enjoy playing golf, but I like it once a week, maybe on a rare week, twice a week. But the weather's got to be perfect to play it twice a week for me, right? Well, once a week, I have a good time, have lunch with the guys, have a couple drinks. I'm going out with my buddy tomorrow. It's his birthday, 60th birthday. Shout out to Kevin Labrie, who's usually on this call, 60 years young. But man, when you tell me there's more to life than money, tell me what you can do that you really enjoy, that brings you and those you love happiness, that doesn't cost money. And I'll wait on an answer. And they can't give me one.
Well, think of the lives you can change when you have money. I'm not talking about personally, but people reach out, and here's an example. Food banks. You ever hear the story? It's food bank. People are all lined up to get food. By the way, these are always decent cars. They're not Rambo cars. What really lacking? Money to buy the food. And as an example, if you have at your church a food drive, say bring bags of food. They don't want food, they want money, because they could go to a grocery store chain, and the grocery store chain, if they give them cash for donations, they will give them the food at cost. So they can get twice as much food they had the money. So again, we kid ourselves and we lie to ourselves, Omar. Talk about that for a second. We hide behind it. It's a shield. We use it as an example. We're afraid when people start saying this to us. How much is enough? Aren't you ever satisfied? When there's lower life than money, and they start attacking. And what do? We recoil because they're judging us, and we don't like the way they're judging us because we assume that anybody who's money motivated is really not up to God's standards.
Well, number one, if they ever bring that to me, I never recoil. I'm not the recoiling guy. I'm the guy that they will wish they didn't bring it up with because I'll verbally abuse them for the next 5 minutes. Okay. So I don't take any, I'm not embarrassed or shamed that I enjoy building my business and growing my net worth and making money and living a great life. That's what God wants us to do. Tell me in the Bible where it tells you, I want you to be poor and not create any value and do nothing all day long. I mean, I haven't read the whole Bible like line by line. I've read a lot of it. I haven't read it. So if it's in there, please let me know. Please enlighten me. But I haven't seen that where it tells you be poor. I hear he wants you to have abundance. I hear that a lot, right? So I don't understand where all these quote unquote Christians come at me like that. Actually, nobody comes at me. And here's the problem. If anybody's coming at you over that, you need to come strong at them. You need to be ready to respond. You don't let anybody jab you without you jabbing them right back. You know what I'm saying? Stand up for what you believe in. I mean, I think that's what's wrong with America right now is we got all this political crap about, I'm a man, but I identify like a woman. Don't bring that to me because I'll knock you out. Because I'll we'll have a real discussion and you'll probably go home crying, right? Because I know what I know and I believe what I believe in and I don't back up. Okay. My wife, every once in a while, though, she's like, do you think you could? No, I don't think I can not do that. That is who I am. That is what got me to where I am in life. Everybody says, Donald Trump, I don't like the way he talks. Guess what? He don't give a crap that you don't like the way that he talks. That got him to a multi-billionaire and to become president of the United States of America. What you ought to be doing is learning about policies and what he did and not listening to the way he talks. Who cares? I've never ever one time wanted a president that, listen, Obama spoke eloquently, but I wouldn't want him again. Policy-wise, I wouldn't want him again. So stop trying to, have everybody's approval. Stop trying to have everybody like you. The reality is when you're going against the grain, you're going to ruffle feathers. Art Williams went against the grain and he ruffled feathers and he ruffled a lot of feathers. And I wish I was, Art Williams has done great things in his life, has changed many people's lives. His family tree forever is changed, So ruffle feathers and stand up if you're challenged at it, okay? Stand up for what you believe in.
All right, next one, please, Tony. I'm not money obsessed like you are, Omar. I'm not one of those guys. I remember when Art Williams, you heard me tell this story, I had a meeting and Larry Weidel had to borrow money from Bob Turley just to pay for the gas to go to the meeting. And during the meeting, Art looked at him. He just talking, looked at Larry and said, "You're just not money motivated, are you?" And Larry felt immediately pride. He said, said to himself, glad you noticed, Art. I'm not like that. And then it hit him. It wasn't a compliment. And he said, I got to do something about this because he's right. He went out there and doubled his income every month for the next 4 months, doubled it. Omar?
Listen, if you ever looked at me, Bill, and you ever told me, Omar, I think you're just not money made, I mean, money motivated, I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed. I am money motivated. How can, listen, I mean, have you visited the grocery store lately? Do you know what stuff costs? How can you not be money motivated? Listen, you rent an office. Let me just, for all you guys that aren't RVPs, you rent an office, you have a lease, you know what your rent is, and then one day you get hit with CAM. What's CAM? Well, there was a hurricane, so they raised the insurance on the building, and the values have been going up like crazy in Florida, so they raised the value, so the property taxes are. Hey, Omar, your CAM's $18,000. Man, I'm glad I was money motivated. Just wrote a check, 18,000. How about all the poor guys in the building that weren't money motivated? What they did? I don't know what they did, but they had to go into debt. They got to stress, lose sleep. I wrote a check and moved on. What's next? What are we doing tomorrow? You know, I mean, you've got to be money motivated. You got to be obsessed is a word that lazy people use. Obsessed is a word that lazy people. Omar, you're obsessed with Primerica and building your business. You're obsessed with money. Thank you. Thank you very much. What are you obsessed about? And they normally don't got an answer, right? Just hit them right back. Great. Thank you. What are you obsessed about? What are you obsessed about? You know, and they're not obsessed about anything. You know what they're obsessed about? Worrying about you. I don't spend a minute of my time thinking about them at all. At zero.
Every one of these people that use these, they have two family incomes. You take away one family income, you'd be surprised how money motivated they would be. And let me tell you a story quickly. In another session of Hawaii, but in ours, Art Martinez got up and he said he's talking, he's $1 million earner. And he said that his wife came home because she went to a family meeting, a family party with her family. And she came back crying. What are you crying about? Well, the family is concerned about you. You know, you never come to family events. You never support the family events. Whenever you're invited, you're always having to work. You're always using work. You're trying to make money when you're not family oriented. And you had, you know what? You're probably right. But when I make a lot of money, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a party for my children. And I'm going to have a first-class party. Invite all your relatives to come. But it's going to be on a Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. How many will show up?
I'm coming, Bill.
They got to work. Isn't that something? He got a standing ovation. Talk about that, Omar.
When I was in the grind and I was working every day, and I had nieces and nephews that were 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, and they had birthday parties. You know, at 1-year-old, you don't know what the hell's going on, right? You're just looking around, you're smiling, you don't know what's going on. So I remember one time, I don't remember if it was my brother or my sister, or I don't remember who was exactly, but they said, I can't believe you're missing your nephew's 1-year-old birthday party. You know, that only happens one time in their life. And I said, well, he's probably not going to remember, but he'll probably remember when he graduates high school and I give him 25 grand as a graduation gift while you give him $200. Which one do you think he'll remember more? My 25 grand or me missing his 1-year-old birthday party, right? And the reality is, I mean, I love when anybody weak comes at me. I just love it. I love confrontation. I wish I was around when these whole life guys, Bill, had these agent conference. I would have kicked ass and like taken names, right? I would have enjoyed it so much. And I've had 3 agent confrontations in my career, and I crushed all 3 of them. and they left you. Just listen. Be obsessed with getting better. Be obsessed with making smarter decisions. Be obsessed with living under your means and investing your money. Be obsessed with recruiting and building your business. Be obsessed with loving your wife and your kids. Be obsessed with your God. There ain't nothing wrong with the word obsessed. You got to understand that.
You know what? I'll make a point. Omar thinks of these retorts right away. I do too, but 2 hours later. Oh, here's what I should say. Should have said to him. So I don't know what to say at that moment. Not spontaneous like that, but man, an hour later, I got all the answers and I got all the positive retorts. And we had David Lipset said something powerful in one of our Bible studies. He said, it's okay to be obsessed, but it's not okay to be possessed. What do you think's the difference there, Omar?
I don't know. Explain that. I didn't really get it.
Well, the devil possesses you. If it's coming from when you're possessed,
I didn't hear the word. Okay.
Yeah, possessed. And most people are afraid to be obsessed. Well, if your child was sick, you'd be obsessed with getting answers. You'd be obsessed. When I met Carol, I was obsessed with Carol. I thought about her all the time, wrote her notes, blah, 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 right? But it's okay to be obsessed because things only happen when you're obsessed. If you're not obsessed, you're not getting the results you need to get. Don't you want, like your football team, don't you want that coach obsessed with winning? Well, of course you do.
And
you're at school, don't you want them obsessed with performance for their children? Yes. But to be possessed means you're being taken over by an entity that's not good for you. All right, next one, please. Don't sell your soul for money, Omar. Oh, man, I've heard this one. I thought you were better than this, Bill.
And listen, I believe that to a point. In other words, if I had to do things that were unethical and immoral to make money, I would not do it. That's why I don't do cash value life insurance, right? So, but here you don't have that problem. You can like sell your soul to Primerica. I'm telling you, right? Because if you do that and you do all the right things, because what is Primerica? Most of us are Christians, godly people. You want a trip. I was in Hawaii and you eat breakfast and they open in prayer, right? Where in corporate America do they open in prayer? Although Julie's prayer is pretty funny, I got to tell you, but that's another story. But where in where in corporate America do you open in prayer? Where is a chief executive officer like Glenn, openly a Christian, God-fearing man that is leading our company? Most leaders, the creator of the company, Art Williams, God-fearing Christian man. So if you're around good people and you're doing good things and it's going to bring you a lot of money, sell your soul to that. But I wouldn't sell it to anything. So I think this is a good place to, stick your flag in the ground,
I think we all get intimidated by people that confront us, or our thoughts come in, or we hear something like it. When we have to remember, Rabbi Lappin said, if you want to make more money, find ways to serve more people. The only way we make money is by making somebody's life better. If you think about America, as an example, everything is on debt. You want a car, you got to borrow the money. You want a house, you got to borrow the money. You want a new computer, you got to borrow the money. You want to eat dinner, you got to borrow the money on a credit card. Clothes, you got to borrow the money. Universities, they stick it to you. They got to borrow that money. Here, just so other people can make money. Name a way that someone is hurt if you make money here. Talk about that, Omar, and how no one can get hurt here. They don't have to buy a garage full of life insurance policies and try to get rid of them. They don't
Listen,
have, we're not asking for $10,000 just to, or $250,000 just to buy this franchise. Talk about that.
the worst thing that can happen here, and this is how I close every recruiting presentation I do. I say, Bill, I like looking at stuff worst case and best case. So let's look at worst case first. If you come to work with me, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, you're going to learn about money. You're going to get an education that you probably always needed your whole life. You're going to get that here pretty much for free. Number two, you might earn a little money in the process. You might stumble across a client here, a client there. You might make a little money. So you're going to earn and you're going to learn. Worst case, if you realize, hey, it's not for you, you leave the business. What did you lose? Nothing. Now let's look at the best case. Best case is you're like me. You don't like the business. You love it. You love to right or wrong. You are committed to helping people. You are committed to building a business, and you recruit and train and build and open up offices, and you live a dream life. I mean, more money than you can spend, grow a tremendous net worth, leave a legacy for your family. So, Bill, if the worst thing that can happen is you learn and you earn, and the greatest thing that could happen is you're going to get wealthy and create a legacy, is there any logical reason you wouldn't want to try that? And I wait for an answer. And if he answers me, well, no, there's no logical reason, then I know he's intelligent. If not, to me, he's a dummy. He's a dummy. That's it. And I move on. I don't get hurt. I can't help it if like people are dumb. I just can't. Okay. In the early days, I used to try to, rescue everybody. Listen, they're either smart and they want to get better, or I move on and I move on to the next person. So,
And when you sell your soul for money, I mean, someone's going to get hurt for you to make your money. And I don't care who I have to hurt to make money. I'm going to make money. And that's why they do all these bad things. Rabbi Lappin, who, as you know, I've studied him because his Jewish thinking is the kind of thinking I want to have. And that's why you rarely find a Jewish person that's broke. They all seem to have money because they know in their heart of hearts, I'm supposed to make people's lives better. And when I do that, I'll make money. Rabbi Lappin said one of the things he hates is when people say, I'm giving back. He's giving back now. Omar made a lot of comments. So he's giving back now to his kid's school. Now, what they mean is, like Rabbi Lappin said, in the early days of the pirates stole. And then when they got older and they're in their deathbed, they start giving money to all the churches in Europe. So they gave back from what they stole. So it's an insinuation. You're taking, that's why you're giving back. Here, we make money by making people's lives better. Why wouldn't you want to be a Willie Naranjo making $5 million a year? And it goes back to what Rabbi Lappin says. Why does it surprise you when a good, loving God rewards you financially for making his children's life better? If I did favors for Omar's children, he's going to find a way to favor me. If I make his children's life better, he's going to try to make my life better financially. That's why we give out money to people. And comment on this, and we'll go to the next one. Rabbi Lappin said, money are certificates of performance. Instead of getting a plaque, you got money because you made somebody's life better. Talk about your warehouse of all the recognition you've got. And we applaud you for that, but the real certificates of performance are in your pocket.
I got a warehouse. Number one, our office is about 5,000 square feet. And we got recognition on every wall, on the floors, everywhere here. And we still have another warehouse across the street full of awards. And that's after we've probably thrown out, I'm not kidding, every 5 years we have a spring cleaning, we throw out hundreds of awards. So that's not, who cares about a plaque or a trophy, honestly? money is the reward. I always say, are you playing Recognition Primerica or are you playing Get Rich Primerica? Because it's two totally different companies. And I would tell you that a lot of people want to win a trip, get a ring more than they want the money, which is crazy. You can look, here's my ring right here, right? Here's my ruby ring. You can have it. I mean, I don't care. It's nice to have, but I like the money better because I could use it. I can't use that ruby ring at the grocery store. Bill, we just planned a trip to Hawaii and Japan. It's going to be 4 weeks, 10 days in Hawaii, 18 days in Japan. We used a travel company called Abercrombie Kent. It is a first class, high end, unbelievable, everything's first class. The trip was 125 grand, Bill. I can't pay that in plaques and trophies. They actually wanted hardcore currency. So we're going to have a dream trip. And why are we doing Hawaii and Japan? Because I asked Brady and Olivia, hey, where would you like to go on vacation? Give me one of your dream spots so we can scratch them off. That costs money. Olivia's dream spot was Hawaii. Brady's was Japan. I figured while we're already in Hawaii, it's only another 8-hour flight to Japan afterwards. So we're going to do Hawaii, 10 days, Japan after that. It's going to be unbelievable. We're going to go to Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. We're going to ride on the bullet trains, first class. We got first class flights. We're staying at the Four Seasons in one place, St. Regis in the other place, and the Ritz-Carlton in Tokyo. And then we end the trip, of course, in Tokyo Disney, in the best Disney resort there. And these are all memories that our children will have forever. When I'm long gone, when Danielle and I are dead in the ground, or I want to be cremated, that's another story. When we're gone, our kids, they're going to remember, they're going to tell their kids about the trip. And with all the money we leave them, they're going to be able to take and recreate those memories with their children. Well, you're obsessed, Omar. You're just obsessed. Yes, I'm obsessed with doing great things, having a great life, creating great memories. Why wouldn't you be obsessed with all of that? You should be obsessed with that.
You know, Omar, a lot of people that use these cliches and these little, they want to stick you with a stick, you know, jab you because they're not what they want to be, and they've got a spouse they're saying, why can't he or she do? They get into debt. Yeah, they take trips to Disney, but they go into debt to do it. Or they might go on a nice vacation, but they get into debt to do it. The thing that money creates is no debt. Christmas, no debt. This trip, no debt. You know, one of the things that we love, I can't tell you how much we love it, is planning a trip, Omar, and talk about this, then calling your loved ones. We've got 20 people going to Disney the first week in June on Disney cruise. And we love, you know how much money we've asked them to put in?
Zero.
Nothing. And Carol loves it because she's the one that does it. I'm the one that pays for it, or we pay for it, and I get credit for it. She loves calling the relatives up and say, she goes like this. I got good news for you. How would you like to join us? Can you imagine making a phone call? Imagine making that phone call to your mother or father and saying, Mom and Dad, I know you hate your jobs, but I tell you what I'm going to do. There's a limousine coming to your office on this date. When you give your resignation, we're picking you up, and now you're coming to work for me. What am I going to do for you? Be a granddad, be a grandmother. But we need the money. I'm going to pay. You know how many people have retired their parents with the money they're making here? You know how many people have bought their parents' cars? And we hear about football players and baseball players buying their moms' homes. You know how many people have bought their moms' homes, paid off debt going into a church. Art Williams went to Liberty Christian University, and they were having strong, big financial problems years ago. He wrote them a check for $70 million to wipe out all their debt. Talk about that, Omar, and the joy that God gives us when we are able to share those blessings with other people, and not just for our own selfish purposes that only give us pleasure. Making money brings pleasure to other people. Who do you want to share with, Omar?
Well, I'll give you an example. My uncle Mo was the only guy that ever made money in our family. And Uncle Mo had a beautiful cabin in the Poconos, and he was a member of the country club there. So in June, July, August, they could go up there, play golf. And in the wintertime, they could go up there and they could snow ski. And so they invited us, who we didn't ever go on vacation as a kid. I mean, I went to Disney World one time in my whole life as a kid. And we went up there, and I was in this cabin, and we went to their club, and I was a big tennis player then. I was high school team. I was actually my number one seed. 9th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th, I played tennis. So they had indoor tennis courts. I never seen indoor tennis courts in my life. And I thought that was the most amazing thing. Then we went back up there in the wintertime. We went snow skiing. I was like, so you could snow ski, but you can still play tennis inside. They got pools inside. So Uncle Mo's ability to make money and to create this great life gave me an example of what it could be like. Because the only example I had is we were broke, we were in debt, we didn't travel anywhere, we didn't go anywhere, we lived in the hood. That was the only example. So if I didn't have Uncle Mo to stretch my vision, I don't know where I would be today, honestly, because I wrote it down in my high school yearbook. I said, I am going to work in the investment business, and I'm going to help people, and I'm going to make a lot of money doing it. And I didn't even really understand what I wrote, but I wrote it down because it was planted in my mind. Just like now, my one nephew, Chase, loves football. He loves the Dolphins. And when I bring Chase and his dad, which is my brother, to the Dolphin game with me, and we're in our Dolphin suite. We're in a suite, leather chairs, air conditioned, row one, right there, perfect view. He says, Dad, why can't we get tickets like Uncle Omar's tickets? I don't say a word. I look the other way because he must feel bad, right? But does he? No, because he don't move his butt, to work with me. But I think us being able to do good for other people helps them stretch their own vision in what's possible, and also helps them to believe money's not evil, because that's all they've ever heard all their life. Money's evil. And then this rich person gives them stuff. And, we've all heard the story of the ear piece that I gave the kid that stutters, and all that changed his life. It only cost me $5,000.
Omar, a lot of people didn't hear that story, and we're running out of time. So why don't we tell that story? Because I love it. I get emotional every time I hear that story.
So there was a 12th grader in school with Brady. Brady was in 10th grade last year, and they were in yearbook class together, so they became buddies. So it was graduation week, and Brady asked me, Dad, can we go to graduation? Now, who goes to graduation unless you're actually graduating or your kid is? So I asked him, I said, why do you want to go to graduation? He said, one of my buddies is graduating, and he doesn't have a dad who's in his life, and he only's got a mom, and I'd just like to be there. I said, okay, man, that's really nice of you. Let's go. So we went, and I met the kid afterwards, and this guy stuttered worse than I ever stuttered. I mean, his stutter was just off the charts. It was really painful to watch, broke my heart. So there's this little device called Speech Easy that if you slide it in your ear, it's like there's another voice. And when you stutter, if you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance and you can hear other people doing it, you don't stutter. That's why when they're listening to music on the radio, they can sing with the music and they don't stutter because they can hear another person. So what this does, I don't know how it does it. It reflects your own voice in your ear, so you're hearing another person talk your words as you're talking, and it helps you. So when I tried it years ago, it was like $5,000 then, and I didn't do it, but it worked. I mean, it worked, but I didn't do it because I was already comfortable with who I was. I stuttered, that's the way I was, whatever. But this kid was 18 years old, and you could tell he was lacking confidence and he wasn't comfortable with it. So I got the school to give me his mother's telephone number, and me and my wife called his mother and we explained it all. We explained what we wanted to do. We like to meet her first. We wanted her blessing. I didn't just want to randomly call her child and do this. So the mother came over and she cried. She was one lady raising a kid, working 2 jobs so that he could graduate from school. She's never heard him not stutter. He stuttered his whole life. And his mother broke down and cried and just told us what a blessing. We all cried. Brady was there watching it all happen. So it's a good example to Brady as well. So when I went over to meet the kid again and we talked about it, he lit up. He wanted to try this thing. He was so grateful. So we went over there. $5,000 is all it costs. I mean, but most people can't spend the money on stuff they don't know if it works. So I bought it. He slides it in his ear and he read 100 words on one page. He stuttered on 100 out of 100 words. After he slid the earpiece in his ear, he stuttered like on 18 out of 100 words. That is a dramatic change. And so the lady, very smart, because it didn't even cross my mind, the lady told the young man, why don't you call your mother? We'll leave the room and we'll let you call your mother so you can talk to your mother. I stayed near the door because I just had to hear it. And you could hear the mother crying on the telephone. I mean, I'm getting worried right now because the mother is listening to her child after 18 years. It's the first time that her child could talk to her pretty much normal. And it was just life-changing. And so, you know, anybody ever tells you you're obsessed with making money, tell them, hell yes, I am. And don't be embarrassed about it because you could do so many good things. It's unbelievable. I could tell you story after story after story, and I'm sure Bill can tell you story. Bill, you know, he doesn't brag about it. And it's crazy. That's one thing I don't brag about, right? I like talking about my cars and my house, but I don't like talking about those things because they're private, they're intimate. But Bill put kids through Christian school from kindergarten through 12th grade. I mean, every year just pay their tuition for these children that he just wanted to bless. I mean, it just, you could do a lot of stuff. You guys that aren't making money, you're just scared. And I mean, you need to get over it and grow up and get out and recruit and build a gigantic business, make more money than you know what to do with, so you can start giving it away. I can't wait till the auction tonight, Bill. I'll text you. I'll let you know how much that parking spot goes for. Last year it went for $40,000. There was a new guy to the school. He didn't know, so I had to like let him know that. So he'd raise me. Finally, I just yelled out, "Hey, whatever he bids, $5,000 more." Infinitely. So I don't want to raise my hand again. I just want you to know. And the bidding stopped completely right there on the spot. Everybody clapped. It was awesome. We had a great time.
Well, Omar, this has always been fun. I love talking to you. You're a great friend of ours, great friend of all of us. And our next Money Quest is April the 19th, Friday, April the 19th. And so Omar and I love doing this. And Omar, I love you. I love you. I love your heart. I love your heart for your family. I know, I don't know why you want to make money, but you'll find out down the road. Right, Omar? You don't know why, but all of a sudden things like this come up. Other things come up, like Andy Young. I didn't come here to take care of the homeless and feed the poor and build orphanages. I came here to make money. But now that I made money, I'm taking care of the homeless. I'm taking care of the poor. God will let you know why, but there's just an inspiration. There's a nudge. There's a desire. And you've got to go with that. And then you'll find out down the road why you have this money desire. So, all right, everyone. Thank you very much, Omar. This has been fun again. Thank you, Tony. Enjoy your time up in Washington. And God bless everyone. And we'll see you on the 19th of April. Happy Easter, Holy Week next week.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Jesus is getting resurrected, and we're all right behind him one day. God bless everyone. Take care.
And folks, this is the secret password. Grateful, not satisfied. You put that into orender.downloads@gmail.com from your personal email address. You have until Monday, the 25th to make this request. And then you'll get a copy of this video as long as it's available. So there you go. And have a great night. Take care. Good day. Bye.